Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it at Massive Press on itch.io. In our last session, we followed the DBC Crew as they tentatively agreed to a truce with Casper Valium and Heathcote, representing the enigmatic Nobilis affair, following them to the mining camp where the Flus Delta population is sheltering. There, they met Rejoice Lindhall, head of the camp, and agreed to help with the exodus to get people here out from under the thumb of MantiCorp. There were other motives at work in the camp as well. Casper once helped crippling the iridium alum operations on the planet before they leave, giving the DBC crew time to consider their request for aid. And, at the end of last session, Jean Mariolis, sister to Rock's contact Melissa Longfellow, revealed herself to the pilots as a company loyalist and corporate spy, believing them to still be allies. After a tense conversation with Astro and Rock, she remains under Rock's supervision. And that is how we ended the very end of last session, so that is where we will be picking up. It is recent in your minds, Astro, the quickly escalating, life-threatening situation you got yourself into in that negotiation that Rock diffused, and your fellows, Evelene and ORION, are back at the mechs, starting to see to general repairs. Where do you guys go from here?
Did we end last time like right in the warehouse? So are we still there? At least Rockin' and myself, Astro.
Yes, you guys are basically end of last session was situation diffused. Now we can zoom in to the particulars there, or we can kind of narrativize, smash cut to the next scene. You know what I mean? Like. Right. It depends on where you guys want to pick up this session from.
I'm good with going to the next scene, but the only particular, and I don't know, I might have mentioned this last time and just forgot, was I guess, is Rock gonna just be watching her all the time? I'll say this in character if I haven't already. I'll say, so what do you plan to do, Rock? Are you just gonna be her babysitter?
If you got a better idea, I'd love to hear it.
Wow. Looks at his phaser. I did have a better idea, but
I'm a little shocked. I'm not
kill her. I meant turn her in.
Okay. Well, I'll save my surprise then. Didn't really expect that. Turning her in doesn't really help us in any way. I don't think.
I'm just saying, she's a liability.
Right, but if we turn her in, anyone working with her, she's here for this, right? Like, she's just standing there?
Yeah.
She is, the situation is she has reholstered her holdout weapon, and kind of backed off. You guys kind of walked over to the door and started talking to each other, but the room's not gigantic, right? If you guys are hashing out this conversation here, she's here.
Yeah, okay. Listen, there's probably other people working with her. She's likely not alone. In the moment that she goes into any kind of a jail or anything, they're going to know something's up, especially after meeting with us. At least with this case, I can keep an eye on her communications and who she's talking to. Make sure she doesn't go out of hand. I'm sure she'd prefer it. She'll have a chance to, as long as she's still free, right? I look over at her.
She is coldly appraising the two of you.
All I mean to say is just keep a close eye on her, because I'm sure at any moment, any opportunity she gets, she's going to try to report the situation back to her superiors.
I'm less concerned about the superiors at this point. We've already kind of decided that they're going to figure out what happened and what we're doing. whether they find it out now and she reports it or later, it doesn't really matter. I'm more concerned with the people that are here.
Well,
like I said before, I really don't think that all of the loyalists are just sitting in, cages down below somewhere. I'm sure there's others that didn't get caught.
my concern is that the colonists won't be ready to launch off uh, for some time. It's going slower than expected. So,
Was it 3 days, 4 days, something?
It was
like that?
supposed to be 2 days. It is now 7 days.
yeah, it's now a week.
You guys have a week before the rendezvous ship from the Nobilis Affair is scheduled to arrive.
So that gives the loyalist or MantiCorp a week to interfere with their plans if she finds a way to contact someone. We just gotta be careful.
I just wish there was a way out of this that everyone could be happy. I think we've found the best possible situation. I mean, I, for one, definitely don't want to blow up this mine with us in it. That sounds horrible, and I have no idea how we plan on doing that in the first place.
Well, I hope so, but I'm also worried that taking half measures on every front will just lead to us failing on every front.
A little bit more hush. I'll just say, listen, Captain, I'll go with whatever you think. If you want to change your mind and blow this place up, I'm with you either way. But until we get a better idea, I might as well keep an eye on her.
I'll nod and say, I agree. That seems like the best course of action.
You better go talk to the others then. I was gonna go out and do some patrols, but maybe I'll just get a lay of the land with her here for now.
Sounds good. All right, so I'll just stride out of the warehouse while giving her a cold, hard glare.
She returns it.
Sure, she's shaking in her boots.
I'll walk back over to her then.
Okay.
Just gonna go. All right. So what now?
I don't know. I thought you guys were going to be our salvation, but now you're just another problem.
I really think you need to start seeing the benefits of situations. I mean, we talked about completely ruining this whole operation, and now we're not going to. There's something salvageable here for you and MantiCorp, right?
Let's hope.
Well, I think you should look at the bright side here. But it is what it is, and unfortunately, you don't really have a choice in it at the moment, so I repeat, what now?
We need to talk about the people who were captured.
All right. What about
What
them?
are they planning on doing with them?
Ugh. I don't...
You're talking about everyone getting something out of this. If all these people are leaving, what do I do, and what are the people who are captured doing?
They talked about leaving them here on the planet. I don't know if that's a good idea. To be honest, it seems like a little bit of a death sentence to me, depending on where they do it. If this base does stay intact and doesn't blow up, like we were talking about preventing, then there's at least a fortified area for them here until MantiCorp does arrive, and I think we can both assume that that's going to happen at some point.
That you see the barest hint of like an affirmative smirk in response to that. Oh, I'm sure they'll be arriving soon. Anything else, Rock?
Not really. I'll just awkwardly go, so what do you do for fun here while you wait?
I'm surprised that you can afford to be a one-man warden for 7 days. I thought they needed you out there. She, motions to the door.
They might. That might be your chance, I suppose. We'll see. Would you rather me turn you in?
I'm just interested in what you think your situation is and what you're planning on doing here.
It makes two of us.
She looks around, wanders over to one of the series of boxes and storage crates and stuff. She moves a couple of things out of the way, and you see her grab a small cardboard box basically off of the shelves of supplies. She holds it up and she says, "Poker?"
Sure, why not?
And she takes out of the cardboard box a set of playing cards. And if that is the end of your scene, I guess we'll fade out on you two setting up a little 2-person game there. Now, checking back in with the others, Astro and Rock have been gone for a little while now. What have the other two of you been doing?
I would imagine that Dyne and I have been just trying to figure out what we can salvage from what resources the base has so we can fix our mechs up.
Did we divvy up the resources from last time? Did we decide how to go about that? I can't remember.
I feel like we did.
No, you guys haven't gone through a repair yet.
Okay.
So where you guys are right now is I said that based off of the random assortage of supplies available at the base here, they have enough supplies here to give each of you 2 repair cap if you take a full repair here.
Okay. And I think we decided that we would only take half of their resources because otherwise they would literally have nothing.
That is the thing, yes. When I
familiar,
say
yeah.
they have the resources for those, that means that if you use them, they don't have them. So it is actually using up what they have available. So basically there's a total of 8. The less they have, the less effective they will be.
Right.
So we have 4, I guess.
Yeah.
We're taking half.
We have 4 to distribute.
Okay.
I don't know if this is meta or not, but I don't really need mine. I have 2 repair cap and I've used 1, so I'm at half capacity right now, which I think is fine.
And Rock, you had said in a prior session that you didn't need it, so the others would know that.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys can have an extra 1 or give it back to them either way.
Yeah, I don't have any. I think you have none also.
I have 0 too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used all of them to repair my structures, it looks like.
Where are you at, Todd?
Yeah, I was just gonna
feel
say,
like we would have been able to figure this out even if you're not there.
I think I have. Let me check my sheet real quick. So I have 4. I have 4 out of 5 repair.
Oh,
caps.
you're fine then.
Yeah.
All right, want to take 2 each then?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay, I feel a little bit better.
So you're taking 2 each of mine.
No.
Of the 4 repair cap that you guys have chosen to take from the mining base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're now at minimum 2 across the board, and then Astro and Brock have 2 more. Yeah, so they're at 4.
Yes, so the mining camp will keep the other 4 points of supply, and yeah, they can use that for defenses and repairs.
Cool. I guess in the meantime, we're just kind of I don't know. I feel like Evans is trying to take stock of the area in the time we have left, waiting for Astro and Rock to come back.
Well, I imagine you've started the full repair. This, getting this repair cap back is going to be part of the 10-hour, you rest and also do maintenance on your mechs. A lot of this is shorthanded, but they have just a random assemblage of supplies. So you getting these repair cap back looks a lot like spending, minutes and hours going through what they have, picking up a thing and being examining it, being I think I could use this, and taking it over and comparing it with what you use, and you know what I mean? So it is a time consuming process determining what they have that you can use. So it does take the full rest, essentially.
And while this is happening, I'm going to request Eveline's help in... so part of my mech's solid core is the charges it gains, and whenever I do a full repair, I lose them. So I'm going to request, since I've never done it before on my own, I'm going to request Eveline's help in watching the systems while I discharge all of the energy stored.
Oh God!
So we don't have a cannon fire like last time.
You're really get some technology support to fix that. So we don't always have to be on the edge whenever you have to do this.
Yeah, I think when we get back from this mission, I'm gonna have to look into something. I'm gonna need some help in order to maintain this. This is just
big
too complicated.
Yeah, it is. It is a attention consuming process. Essentially, you set up. Evelene kind of watches all the readouts, hangs out, makes sure that nothing is topping off or has to shunt power in case something starts to overblow in one area, while you go through the process of basically expunging the excess power in a non-lethal way.
If I were in the DBC, I would need Evelene. I'd already have a target. But since we are outside of the DBC, I probably don't want to scare the refugees.
Oh God.
Well, I will say, as part of the full repair, Dyne, you don't blow up your mech, so there's something. There's a nice
Thank
little
God.
bonus. Yeah.
I was worried.
And then I'm gonna run some diagnostics on the machine and then store the data both of everything that's happened so that I can send it over to Dion after this mission's over.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. All right. And Astro, you actually get back probably as they're finishing up kind of working on Dyne's technology issue there. So you would get back and see Evelene and Dyne kind of monitoring a couple of displays as you notice Dyne's mech kind of just radiating energy.
Real quick before we get into that, I actually can't remember if we talked about this, but for my BMAX, the charge uses I get, do those reset on a full repair, or when do those recharge?
You refresh ammo on a full repair, and I am still giving you that benefit. So any of your things that are deployables or use charges or ammo, refresh now as of this full repair.
Okay, cool. Actually, I didn't want to forget because I already used up 2 charges previously.
Yes, that is correct. So you get those back.
Okay, back to the current plot.
All right, so yeah, as I head back, I'll say, how's it going here?
Well, we didn't blow up the base, so that's a start.
All right, well, that's good to hear.
I'll just say, we were discharging the energy from the Apollo system, so, we didn't want to have a repeat of what happened inside the DBC.
Yes, please.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
I would. Thank you for thinking of me.
How'd your little meet and greet go?
I suppose it could have gone worse.
Oh no! What did you do?
Rock?
Where's Rock? Is he dead?
Everything's
he's
fine.
dead. It could have been worse. I could have also died.
Fortunately, I was able to seduce the door on the way out.
I've got good news and I've got bad news. I'm alive, but Rock is dead.
And everyone's getting a promotion because we have an opening now.
Yeah.
Everyone
gets a
shifts up
raise.
one space into the next thing they're not qualified for. Evelene, you're the new pilot. Dyne, you're the new chief engineer.
Does that make me an admiral?
That makes you also the doctor as well as the captain.
Oh man, then we are truly screwed. Anyway, back into character
Poor
here. So
Torsay.
Astro, yeah, Astro says, "Well, don't worry, Rock's fine. Everything's okay. It's just getting a little complicated, is all." So, we told her she is, a company loyalist, and we had to tell her that we're not going to play ball with her. And we I was ready to turn her in, but that probably would have went south quickly had Rock not stepped in and diffused the situation somewhat. And we've kind of come to an understanding. We agreed that we won't help in the plot to destroy the iridium alum. And she won't try anything too drastic. But I don't trust her very much, and Rock's gonna be kind of babysitting her until we're ready to get out of here.
So
That's where we stand.
What are we gonna go tell Angry Kid up? Evelene snaps her fingers up. Casper, was it?
Well, we're just gonna have to tell him that we're on board to help get the colonists safely evacuated, but we're not gonna go any further than that.
So that means they're just gonna do it without our support. It's not like we're gonna say oh, we don't want to do it, and they'll say oh, well, we tried, and they're just gonna walk away. They're still gonna try to blow it up even without our help.
So, just to step out of character here, can someone remind me last session, did we explicitly agree to stop them from blowing up, or just not?
We very
to help
much
them?
did not.
No.
I specifically did not.
Okay, yeah, we just said we wouldn't help.
You basically said you wouldn't blow up the mines. But it's like one of those things where as you were saying, I won't blow up the mines, wink, 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 wink.
Okay, so Astro says...
Out of character, I feel like the implication is that they don't want it to happen at all, but in character, I guess, we'll talk about it.
Astro says to that, that's right, yeah, if they are able to blow up the mines, they're just going to have to do it without our help. We won't help them, but we're not going to stand in their way either.
Evelene will raise an eyebrow and say, all right, we'll see how that plays out.
Listen, all we need to focus on right now is helping the colonists prepare for evacuation. And if anything gets in the way of that, we're going to have to, defend them. For now, I suggest we just all turn a blind eye to the plot to destroy the mines.
Might
All
as
right.
well. To be perfectly
Sounds
honest,
like a plan.
I didn't know what the hell to do about that explosive anyway. I was lying.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, you're probably feeling pretty disappointed you didn't get to blow something up.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Not everything needs to be blown up, Astro. It's not like a movie.
Well, something tells me we're going to be blowing something up by the time we manage to get off this planet anyways.
As long as it's not our ship.
Let's not.
So
I prefer it that way.
as you kind of continue conversations with your two crew, Astro, and start handling the maintenance of your own mech. After a little while into your full repair / rest, The three of you will notice a figure starts to approach.
All right, I'll stop. Get down from working on my mech to see who's coming up.
It is dark. You know, the mining camp has gone into like nighttime mode already. There is almost no power usage here. The most that you can use without being detected or running larger generators are things like hand torches and things like that. Things that you can use, you know, reliable tools and stuff, but there's no like large scale lighting or like personal like environmental stuff running in the camp. So you'll notice as the night goes on, the darkness kind of encroaches. It is dusty here, and it picks up in the wind a little bit. But out of the darkness, the man you have met earlier today appears. He's older, very weathered face, kind of like gray to white hair kind of pushed back on his head, wearing very, very workman style, like black clothing, with almost like a priest collar around his neck. And Heathcote approaches.
Oh, hello, Heathcote.
Yes, Astro. I have come to see you and your crew.
Oh, well, thank you. Anything we can do for you?
I did not have a chance to speak with you all earlier. He pauses for a second as if he's trying to like correct himself. It's like he almost started to say something and then he cuts off. And you catch this, Astro, because you kind of like are good at talking to people. But like he starts to say something and like catches himself and corrects. He says, yes, Casper wanted to speak with you all earlier, and I felt it was rude to butt in on the conversation. But now that we are all amenable with one another, I wanted to make my services available to you.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. I had the impression you're just the quiet type.
Sometimes, yes, that can be true. I don't want to impose. I'm merely here to guide.
Well, tell me, how do you think the evacuation is faring so far?
It progresses apace. The people here are scared and impatient, and it would do to see them a little more enthused with their soon-to-be change in circumstances, but it is hard to have the long view of history when you're living it.
That's very true. Well said.
Thank you.
Well, how do you think we can help?
I think you all being here is a good sign. In turning you to our cause, we have simultaneously defeated an enemy and gained an ally. We are up not one, but 2 advantages.
Well, we can use all the allies we can get, personally. After we're through here, I have a feeling our little ship is going to be a fugitive ship.
Well, the universe is very big, and you all strike as the sort to be self-sufficient. He, like, smiles amicably at all of you. I don't know if Dyne or Evelene have come down as well. But you'll notice at the very least, Astro is now talking to Heathcote, the man who hasn't really talked before. Every interaction you guys have had with Casper and Heathcote, it's kind of just been Casper talking to you.
Yeah,
I would have come down eventually. Like, I think it's obvious that Astro's talking to Heathcote, and she would have come down to listen in.
Yeah, I would have come down after I set the machine to run some more diagnostics. Yep.
Part of what I'm here for is just to let you know tomorrow we are holding a meeting with to get a to get some input on how to proceed apace from here. We want all of you to attend, if possible, as many voices of consideration as we can. You seem to be the type to have firm, strong opinions. Also, I will be there, as well as Casper, Joyce, and Peak will all be in attendance.
Well, very good. We will be glad to join.
We will be discussing what our plans are to get us through this harrowing week.
Well, you have our full support.
That is good to hear.
What's the name of their group again? The Noble something?
Nobilis Affair.
Nobilis Affair.
Also, who's Peak? This is out of character. I don't remember.
You could ask that in character if you want.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I will. I'll say, like, well, not to be rude or anything, but who's Peak? Did we meet him and I'm just rude?
I say this because I've never introduced you to this character, so Evelene wouldn't know.
Astro's like, he doesn't know who Peak is.
Can
you believe this one?
Yes, Peak. He was the mine supervisor. He ran the camp while it was still active. Of course, running the populace, as it were, is kind of Joyce's deal, but Peak knows the area, the layout of the base, and the surroundings better than anyone, and he's a firm resource, although he's a bit eccentric.
Oh,
nothing wrong with that.
Character. I'll be looking forward to meeting him then.
Yes.
So tell me, Heathcote, how long have you been with the Nobilis Affair?
Oh, my whole life.
Whole life. So you're brought up in the group, were you?
Yes.
Do you often help lost causes like the colonists here?
When they align with our goals and needs, it is good to do good for others.
What are your goals and needs, if I'm not being too forward?
I am afraid that it is a very broad question. Today, what we look for and what we need is different than what we needed last week or we need tomorrow. I can tell you that for now, our goal is to make sure that this MantiCorp doesn't have a foothold here any longer.
Okay, well, we just want to help the colonists get off this planet safely. To that end, we will assist in any way we can.
Yes, they will be much happier once they are translocated.
Very good. Well, we're just working on some repairs here, so probably get back to it, but send me the information for the meeting.
Yes, I was also here to offer my services. I am, in many ways, here to talk with you and to get a sense of you. I'm a trained mechanic, philosopher, duelist, meditation instructor. I can spar with you if you wish, instruct, lend assistance as I can. You tell me how I can help.
Oh, wow. Quite a jack of all trades you are.
He, smiles politely.
You know any good stories?
I do know a few good stories, yes.
Could always use the company. Look, I'm just gonna tell you right now. If I had to hang out with the same 4 or 5 people all the time, it's just gonna get dull all the time. So never be afraid to meet new people.
Oh, he says.
What, you mean you aren't tired about hearing about Astro's movies?
Evelene's sweet on him.
I will give Dyne the stare of death. Yeah.
Dyne will just smile and then turn around and walk back towards the mech.
Heathcote like looks around in a little bit and says, "Ah, your other friend appears to be absent."
Oh, yes, he was just patrolling the area, getting a feel for things.
Yes,
Sure,
he
he'll
seemed
be
the
back momentarily.
competent sort.
Yeah, you could say that. Well,
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see head or tail of him eventually.
Well,
Well,
good.
Evelene, it seems like you two could have a lot to talk about. He says he's a mechanic. Maybe you could go over some of the modifications you've done to your mech.
Yeah, might as well. Wouldn't hurt to have an extra set of hands in case something goes wrong. And I'll sort of motion Heathcliff over to my mech, and I guess just start showing some stuff going on with it.
Is it
He,
Heathcliff or Heathcote?
Heathcote.
Oh crap! Did I say the cat?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. In my brain, I keep
As a large
associating
orange
with the
cat approaches your mech.
Heathcote. I'm so
Where's
sorry.
Garfield then?
So Heathcote comes over and he very, very patiently like waits while you kind of like explain some differences to him. He asks you like just kind of the right questions at the right times that you get a sense that he like knows what he's on about. Yeah, he'll help you if you want to like get through some of the repairs and like if there's anything you need an extra pair of hands for, and
Sure.
he'll just kind of chat with you as you work. The kind of broad coverage of what he talks about is very like he's kind of probing to see if you say why you're helping. Right?
Get her intentions.
Yeah, like do you ever get into like why you, a mercenary crew, is willing to help this group of colonists? That seems to be the essence of what he's asking.
I probably won't like tell like a whole background or anything, but like, you know, if he has like, you know, like, so, you know, what's in it for you? It's like, well, you know, it seems like the right thing to do. Wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that people are trying to get out of a bad situation.
He kind of like nods along with that kind of like simplistic explanation.
Gotta have morals.
And then after that, he kind of starts poking in about. Not in like a spy way. If he was spying on you, he's doing it very clumsily. Because
it's like casual conversation.
What he's asking is generally like, what are you all good at? Like, what are you trying to become good at? Like, what are your aspirations? And like, but it's all framed around a sense of like, what are you good at now? What do you want to be very good at? He's not so much asking you like what your dreams are, what you want to do. He's more asking like, what are you proficient at, and what do you wish you were proficient at? You know what I mean?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, it's a very in an odd way. It's almost career focused. You know what I mean? His conversation. It's odd in a way, but he's asking it almost as if he's talking almost like he is like a like career counselor. You know what I mean?
Counselor, the mercenary.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I think like, to be perfectly honest, and this is Evelene talking, not me talking, obviously, but be perfectly honest, I think the structure of our missions as of late have kind of changed quite a bit. So like, you know, everything's kind of a bit in flux. I mean, I can't speak for the other folks, but I mean, for me, it's sort of along the lines of like, you know, try to be more competent, see what we can do with what we can, you know. I mean, you can only live so long, you know. If I can do better at helping people and doing a good job, I mean, that's good enough for me.
Yes,
anything better than being a miner rest of my life.
It is often the obligation of those who are competent and who have skills to share those skills with others, and I'm glad to see you doing so. The striving to become better is laudable. I think you all are quite laudable, in fact. I appreciate all of your help.
Well, I mean, the same could be asked for you. I mean, obviously, we've talked about your team for a bit, but like, what are you where do you want to be at the end of the day, or I guess the end of this?
I am a guide. If I can help others find their path, then I have succeeded in mine, raising the base level of all those around me. I wish to be the rising tide that raises all ships.
You're really good at these metaphors, aren't you?
I did tell you I was a trained philosopher. He gives you kind of like a kidding smile.
Well, I can tell you're. I mean, I haven't met very many philosophers, so I can't give you a strong approval. But I mean, you certainly seem pretty intelligent.
He's been practicing these one-liners all his life.
Oh yeah. These are his pickup lines, actually.
Well, I am glad, at least, to have found you all to be quite amenable folk. I look forward to continuing to work together, and after all the dust has settled from this job, if you encounter our people again in the future, I hope it is as allies.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, you all seem like good, alright people. I can't imagine why we wouldn't want to work with you guys again. Although I'll give you a word of advice: don't ask Astro about his movies. You'll be better off. Let's tell you right now.
But learning more about what people take in and what people experience in their culture gives a wider view of how the population thinks and what they aspire to. It is almost required reading.
As he reveals his huge Astro Jamin movie collection.
He opens this trench coat and it's just lined with Astro Jamin
Code Argyle.
DVDs.
The direct-to-DVD movie.
It is arguably one of the most artistic representations of an action film I've ever seen.
Strange, they filmed the entire thing in sepia tone.
And then tried to colorize it afterwards. Very experimental.
And then you realize all his one-liners are lines from Astro's movies.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
But yeah, he spends kind of like an amount of this evening helping Evelene with her repairs. Before he goes, though, he does do a little bit of a chat with Dyne, where he just kind of like superficially kind of just is like making sure everything's fine. He notices that your mech was also kind of like running low on supplies, and he just wants to make sure if there's anything you need, kind of like, you know, like a good funnily, like a good valet in like a high-end place, like making sure like you're equipped and you have everything you need, and like,
right,
you know, can he tell anyone that you're needing certain things and stuff.
Gotcha.
And then he does the same for Astro on his way out, just being like, is there anything else that I can bring to the attention of the camp, or anything that you'd like to get started tonight before I leave you all to your evening?
I'll say nothing here, but thank you. I look forward to working with you in the next 7 days.
Quite. And with that, he just kind of like does a kind of formal-ish bow, and he like walks back into the darkness and dust of the evening, as you see his figure like disappear into the night.
Cool.
Awesome.
When he leaves, I'll gather up Dyne and Evelene, and I'll say, "So, what is your sense of Heathcote?"
Well, I mean, he seems decent. He asked a lot of questions, but I'm not sure if that's just his nature or he was trying to get a feel for us for something coming up in the future.
I think it was definitely that. I was trying to answer his questions truthfully to avoid suspicion without revealing too much. That's why I didn't ask for his help on repairs on my mech.
Why the altruistic interest in trying to help us better ourselves? Don't mean to sound suspicious, but do you think he was checking in on us? Maybe Casper sent him?
There's definitely a chance of that.
I think it's definitely a possibility. Something that we need to watch out for. Hopefully it's altruistic, but if I've learned anything in all my years, that I always always watch your back, especially with hastily joined allies.
Astro just pinches his nose and he's like, "Oh, this whole thing, with Rock watching over the corporate spy is going to be difficult for the next 7 days. I don't know how we're going to sustain this. Should probably go talk to Rock and see how he's holding up."
It's only been like what, an hour?
It's probably been
hours.
a few. Yeah, you're probably, it's into the night at this point.
Okay.
I can't remember. Have I met what's her face yet, or Jean?
No. So far, Dyne and Evelene only saw her from a distance when she tried to stealthily contact Astro to like let him know they needed to meet later, and then Rock and Astro went off on their own to the storage building to have a meeting with her. So the two of you have not met her in person.
If we want to check up on Rock, I would be willing to volunteer because I would like to at least get some familiarity with Jean in case we have to deal with her one way or another in the future.
I would recommend we only go one at a time.
Yeah, I wouldn't go both. Or multiple people.
All right, Evelene, if you want to go, feel free. Just try
This might
to
be a good time to cut back to us then.
Yeah.
I have a few questions I want to ask.
Absolutely.
myself, so.
So while you guys were starting repairs on your mechs, having some conversation and some insight into the mysterious and oddly congenial Heathcote, let's flash back to see what Rock was doing this whole time.
So after about like an hour or so of playing cards, I want to stand up and then walk towards the entrance to the building and open the door and look out it. Assuming there's no one around.
Okay. Yeah, there's no one there.
Okay. Come back and sit down in front of Jean and go, okay, for sure he's gone by now. Do you know Melissa?
I mean, I know her in the way we exchange holiday cards.
Look, she asked me to come make sure that you're okay as a favor.
Ah, good. Then she hasn't forgotten me on this rock.
No, she hasn't. And I don't feel as though I could have spoken fully, freely with my captain here. So, how can we make what you want to do happen here?
So the idiot is in charge then.
You could say as much.
Well, if we're willing to be a little bit more reasonable now, perhaps you can translate it to him later. What you are planning on doing is a bad idea, and I recommend against it.
No, you misunderstand me. I don't want him or anyone else to be a part of it. This is between you and me now.
Okay. Well,
What options do you have? Can we contact MantiCorp somehow? Do you have people here that we can work with?
there is some obstacles in our way of achieving a few things. If you want to get back on the good side of MantiCorp, there would be quite a bit in it for you if you could help me contact them and get my messages out. If you're willing to help me with that.
I need some allowances here. If I get caught doing something like this, that's bad. I may very well just die right then and there to them. They're not going to be okay with a traitor.
Well, you'll have to be good then.
Do you have any kind of assurances that I can be protected here?
If you can get our messages out, even if you're caught, the civilian leadership here doesn't have teeth. Most of my co-conspirators who've been captured have been roughed up a little bit and questioned, sure, but they're alive. I have no doubt that someone as sturdy looking as yourself wouldn't be in any physical danger. They don't have the spine to do the necessary things.
It's not the civilians here that I'm worried about.
Ah, you're talking about the hired hands. I was surprised to be dealing with people so dangerous. I don't know why they're here or why they're helping these people, but I assure you that they'll be swept away once the full might of MantiCorp is brought to bear.
Alright, so you don't have access to communicate to MantiCorp, you need me to do that. That's fine, I can do that. What do I tell them?
I have some data drops that I've hidden. I can give you some locations. If you can get these data packets transmitted to MantiCorp, it will contain some access keys to security, some weaknesses in our fields of vision, letting them know what is and isn't still working so that they can sweep in and clean this whole unfortunate mess up a little bit more quickly.
Alright, where are they?
So this is where Bob is going to step in and ask you to make a pilot check for me.
All
because
right.
you need to convince her to divulge this information to you.
I would say charm for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This depends on where they are and everything. I think a little bit, but capability to handle things by myself. Would you consider assault to be something like that, or is that just more direct? You think?
That is more going to help you if you are trying to enact those things.
Yeah.
From what? Let me put it this way. She is unsure if she fully believes you yet. This is
Gotcha.
you convincing her you're on her side. That's what we need to find out your triggers for right now.
Then just charm.
Charm.
I think is the only thing that really applies. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
And the connection with Melissa, if that means anything.
Because you're the one who's directly connected to Melissa, I'm going to let you have a conditional plus. No, I'm just going to give you accuracy on the roll. You get accuracy on the roll for that.
All right. I rolled a 15 or 14, excuse me.
Oh, nice.
That's without accuracy though. So.
Oh well.
Well, that's a 20 now because I
20.
rolled a 6.
She like measures you up and down, and you don't know exactly if it's the seriousness that you exhibited during your negotiation with her when Astro was still in the room, or your competence in like making sure you're not being watched, the words you used or what. But you can tell as this conversation goes on, you can tell like there is almost something you're picking up in her that is like she's trying to convince herself there's still a way out of this, right? And like she wants to believe you. So yeah, she kind of like looks around, like sets she's been like fiddling with a card. She sets it down next to her and says, "All right, well, if you're interested in getting the real work done." She starts to divulge information of some data dead drops that she has left around the mining camp in case she was captured. They're in odd places, under a shoe that looks like it's discarded in an alley, that looks like worn, like trash, right? Like there's another one that is just buried under a bunch of supplies. Funnily, there's another one that's over by where the rest of your crew is doing repairs that's just like under a rock next to a cliff, right? Like there are a total of 4 data drops that she divulges to you, and she basically explains like each of them are different recordings. They have different amounts of data in them. If you can get all 4 and get it to MantiCorp, MantiCorp will be the most prepared to overwhelm the defenses. But even if you get just one of them to MantiCorp, it will give them an advantage. And she is like, and MantiCorp is willing to pay premium for advantage.
Good. I mean, did you just place all these yourself?
These are all my dead drops. If you can get in to question one of the captured operatives, I can give you a phrase or two that will let them know that you're safe to divulge some more secret info for. They might have more information for you, or at the very least, let you know what they've already given away.
Yeah, I think I can do that. That doesn't seem like that hard. I don't understand. Like, there's seriously no one else? Are you the last one? The last actual MantiCorp sympathizer?
She like on this point, she looks oddly furtive. It's almost like she just doesn't want to answer this question, even though at this point you get the sense that she thinks you're on side. There is
so it's embarrassing more than anything else.
There's a reluctance to give this information even to an ally that comes across in this interaction. But she kind of covers it with like well, you know how cells work. It is imperative that each of us keeps one another's anonymity a top priority, and I may not know all of the operatives in this area. Besides, I imagine that anyone else who is good enough to stay ahead of Casper is probably just as good as I am.
Or better, hopefully. I mean, no offense, but their cells hopefully aren't wiped out.
She doesn't so much like agree or say anything to that. It's one of those like non-committal head movements that's like she's like trying to think. But yeah, you get a sense that like she's uncomfortable.
All right. All right. Well then, at this point, I'll stand up and say, "All right. Well, we should probably get to a point where we can get some rest somewhere, huh? Why don't you put the cards away?
Yeah, she basically shuffles like up the cards and slots them back into the card box. And...
I just kind of like quietly, calmly move behind her, and then just strike her in the back of the neck.
All right. She is martially trained, so I'm going to have another pilot check on this. It is going to be dangerous, but I'm not going to impose... It's going to be risky, but I'm not going to impose difficulty on this because you have her at a disadvantage. In fact, because of the work you've done so far, I'm giving you an accuracy to this. So it is a risky roll, but you have an additional accuracy. What triggers do you want to pull?
Assault. And I mean, I want to do show off every time, but
show off is not going to fly in this situation.
I know.
So I want to be a little bit clearer on this because I do like how they give basically the rules for doing roles in the book. Essentially, there's like a series of like I want to call them like this is obviously not incredibly complicated. We know exactly what the side effects are for failure, but I want us to be a little bit clearer whenever we do a pilot skill check. When you do a pilot skill check, step one is always like declare what you're trying to accomplish. So like you're going to strike her. What are you trying to accomplish from this? Are you trying to knock her unconscious? Are you like, that's what I assume, but you tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to knock her unconscious. That is the goal.
Gotcha.
Short answer. I'm not hitting lightly enough that it could only be that. I'm not concerned if it moves further.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to say here. So.
All right, good to know. Then yeah, exactly what I told you. We've accounted all your things. So
all right,
roll it up.
Well, I rolled a 17 plus 4, so 21.
21. Okay. Because this was a risky check, that means you would have encountered like consequences on anything less than a 20. Because you got over a 20, you just get a full success. A full success is you accomplish exactly what you stated you wanted to do. So you swiftly get behind her, crack her in the back of the head. She is out like a light. Didn't even expect it. No cry goes up. No alarm is heard. You are standing still in a silent room with her collapsed over a pile of cards that is now strewn across the floor.
If I remember correctly, this person was family to Melissa?
That is correct. Half sister.
Okay. Just gonna stand there for a moment, look at her, and go, I guess Melissa doesn't get to choose who she's family with. And then I'll just start disarming her. I'll tie her up best I can if there's anything to do that with. I don't know if there is. We're in a storage room, so maybe there's some cord or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say that there is likely cord here that you'd be able to use that with.
And I will just like pick her up and fireman carry her out and start moving out.
As you're in the process of tying her up, Evelene arrives.
I knew it. I knew I was going to show up at this point. I'll kind of walk in and like, so what you doing?
It's exactly what it looks like, Evelene.
Look, I've been around the block a few times. Like, you don't want to know what I think that looks like. Why don't you just tell me?
I just shake my head with a half smile as I finish tying her up.
Look, assume my imagination's not as good as you would like it to be. Tell me what you're actually doing.
I tricked our boss a little bit by not giving him the full information and interrogated our client here, getting the necessary info that we needed. She isn't going to be as much of a threat as we thought, and we can continue forward with whatever plan we want.
Okay.
At this point, I just pick her up and throw her over my shoulder.
Okay. Next question. What are you going to do with her for a week?
Turn her in. She's going to prison with her other friends.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
What did you think I was gonna do? Just
I
follow her for a week?
I don't know. I mean, we got what's her face wanting to find out her status. I'll snap my fingers. Melissa. Like, don't we have to do something about that or what?
I will wait. How do you know
Burn
about
to
Melissa?
that bridge.
Didn't you tell us?
I wouldn't have told you about. I would have told you I had a contact. I don't know if I would have.
Yeah, maybe we can direct
Drop
them
my contact or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, your contact.
I will have to have a short discussion with her over as secure a channel as possible. But to be honest, I don't think she's going to be talking to us anymore. You realize that the grid isn't something that we exist on anymore now, right?
Yep. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I totally get the whole tricking Astro bit. That I get. But yeah, I guess this is the situation. Let's deal with it accordingly.
Thankfully, she had very little cards to play. I was worried if she had any more info or something reasonably that she could do, I was gonna have to kill her.
This gets more and more complicated. What were you able to get?
Well, she doesn't have any contact to MantiCorp. She has dead drops with information to the weaknesses of the camp currently, which I'll have to go over with the citizens here later. And it seems as though her entire cell has been captured now with her. The rest of them were already in jail, so we might have been a little bit too paranoid. Maybe they did a better job capturing all the sympathizers than we thought.
I wouldn't assume anything, but what's going to be the cover story here? Are we going to tell them exactly what happened, or what?
I just shrug best I can with someone on my shoulder.
I mean, we just say we found it simple because as soon as she wakes up, she's going to just tell us what exactly happened, or at least spin it in her favor.
I don't care what she says. She's a MantiCorp sympathizer, and frankly, I don't feel like I have anything to hide.
Well, fair enough. Make sure she doesn't have any weapons on her.
I already checked, yeah.
All right, then let's get out of here. We can figure out what to do about Astro when we get back.
What do you mean? Just tell him what happened.
That's what I mean. Well, just spin it in a way that doesn't sound like you tricked him.
Well, I mean, he'll understand. She was here. I couldn't exactly tell him the plan while she was listening. That's the only reason why I did.
Okay. Let's Do you need me to grab anything? You good? I don't know. I don't know how strong you are.
There's a deck of cards in that box over there. You want to grab those? I don't have any. I think we have any cards on the DBC, do we?
We got a couple decks sitting around. It wouldn't hurt to have an extra one. I'll go collect that up.
Yeah. All right, yeah, you guys get a set of cards as Evelene gathers them up from the scattered floor. They are themed cards. They are very specifically Cygnus State themed cards. So like the symbol that's on the back of all the cards is like the Cygnus State banner. And then on the face cards, it is like instead of like normal looking kings, they all look like dignitaries, essentially.
Little do we know that this deck of cards is going to be a valuable plot element in the future.
It's a secret item we'll use for later.
Watch, we'll be like in a situation where we have to sympathize with like a Cygnus soldier, and we'll show them these cards like, we're on the level here.
It's like I've got the King of Hearts. That's the call sign.
Only our top members have access to those cards.
But none of you are martial artists with Gundam glowy hands. You can't have the King of Hearts.
I mean, give me some time. I can install a weapon into my mech's hand that can cause it to burn.
Hey, give us time. We can get there.
You can get there. All right, so the two of you take the captive Jean, and where do you go?
Should we talk to Astro and Dyne first, or should we just turn her in right away?
I mean, the longer we have this body we're carrying around, the more suspicious if we're going to be.
The longer we're carrying around
You're
this
really worried
unconscious
about
woman.
being suspicious here, aren't you?
I mean, I'm just saying, we've been here less than 24 hours, and we're seen carrying a tied-up body of one of the crewmen. You don't think anyone's going to ask questions?
I don't.
I'm just saying, use a little common sense here, which is hilarious to me if you're saying it, because Chuck has no common sense.
All right. Fair enough. I'll take her straight in then to the authorities. You go get Dyne and Astro and meet up with me there best you can, because we got to talk to them.
Yeah, I'll get going.
Sorry to make you run back and forth.
Yeah, I could use the exercise.
All right. Well, over the next 10 or 15 minutes, you have taken the unconscious Jean, and she stays unconscious the whole time, to kind of like that headquarters building that you had met Joyce in previously. It is still a hive of activity, even if it has quieted down. Now that it's dark out and people aren't using lights, there are some people using personal lanterns and things like that moving around the camp. But it does seem like the camp is on a whole gone to sleep, basically. The command building itself is still in use, but there are less people here. When you come in with a tied up person, the guards at the front do whoa, what are you doing? Kind of thing. As Evelene, you make it back to your friends Astro and Dyne to let them know where to meet up. So let's just stick with Rock for a second. You show up at the command building with a person tied up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guards approaches hey, whoa, what are you doing?
I'll kind of gesture, look over to the body on my shoulder, and then back to them, and look, I know I couldn't appropriately gift wrapped her, but I think a present into you all is still a present, even if it's not properly tied up.
He you get a sense that he understands that you are here
being a snarky asshole.
Yeah, and also you get a sense that he understands you're bringing this person here as a prisoner. There's not the miscommunication gag happening here, but he's wary of you. So
I'll kind of hand her over to him.
Mm-hmm. You kind of set her down, get her off your shoulders. The other guard kind of takes over, supporting her over one shoulder, kind of doing the kind of the drunk man's carry. And the main guard is yeah, we were told that you might be getting to work right away. I'm gonna have to call Casper in on this right now. Joyce is inside.
You're with Nobilis then?
No. Casper's been put in charge of security of.
Right, he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can go get him, if you can. I don't know what the situation is down below, but it might be best to separate her from the other loyalists, lest she gets some sort of idea or something.
He turns and looks at the other soldier. Not really soldier. These are civilians, but they're playing soldier, right?
Militiamen.
Yes. Yeah. He looks at the other militiamen, and you can see him look at him in a meaningful way. That means listen to what this guy says. Mm-hmm. And he just nods and carries Jean inside. And the guard who's left with you says, Yeah, we can do that. We have a secure questioning room. We'll just put her in there for now. No one else will know she's arrived except Joyce and Casper.
Mm-hmm. Good. Should I wait here for them? My fellows should be coming here shortly too.
Especially if you have other of your group meeting, you should wait here. I'm gonna go get Casper.
Joyce too, right?
She's inside. Don't worry.
I'll go
She's
talk to
always
her then.
inside. You can head on in. We were told to let you in if you showed up.
I will move in.
All right. So he leaves. He doesn't go inside the building, so Casper must be somewhere else in the camp. He heads off into the camp. He lights up a little personal lantern that he attaches to his the front of his tack vest that kind of illuminates in front of him as he goes. And as you move in, the command center is drastically less occupied. You catch the end of the other guard kind of taking Joyce into a side room, setting her up in a chair and kind of closing the door and keeping watch on her. You do know that in straight back there is kind of a conference room that has been kind of converted into Joyce's office.
All right, I will just walk into that then.
Okay.
If she's there.
Yeah, Joyce is there doing paperwork, basically. But it's not official paperwork. It's you can tell that she is basically signing orders for people to do things.
All right, I just won't say much. I'll just open the door and then kind of walk in, wait for her to say something, go sit down.
Yeah, Joyce looks up and says, I heard heard the guards talking to you up front. What business you bringing here tonight?
Seriously, when was the last time you slept?
I got a few winks. Last night.
All right. Tell you what, I have a present for you. I will tell you all about it, and we can have a nice long discussion about it if you promise to sleep for more than a few hours after.
She looks at all the things she has to do and back to you and says, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but I'm trying to look out for a city. And let's just say that once all these people are on transport, I'm going to be going into hibernation for a while. I'll catch up on my sleep when these people are safe.
All right, counteroffer. Let our doctor take a look at you to make sure that there's nothing, extenuating going on here or that you could potentially die from exhaustion.
Fine. I don't begrudge a medical man.
All right, then. There's 4 dead drops that I know of, possibly some others with weakness information about your camp. The lady I just brought in had all of these in place then. I happened to interrogate her and then bring her into you. I do believe that she's the last of her cell of the MantiCorp loyalists here. You have the others down below.
She crosses her arms and kicks back in her chair a little bit and goes, well, that's mighty fine. I had wondered if any more were going to be coming in. A lot like you just did when Casper first took over as security chief. We got a even trickle of people he described as loyalists coming in and getting locked up. Looks like there was 1 or 2 left.
1 for sure. She could have been hiding some information from me. I don't get the feeling that she was, but still be on guard. There could be more.
Always have to assume that there might be.
But this all can be validated by the dead drop locations. I don't even know where some of them are, much less would I have time to place them. So if you send people out looking for them, you should find information there.
All right, well, we're going to get on that. And as you kind of describe the dead drop locations to Joyce, I imagine the rest of your crew arrives at the command center.
I assume that I've already explained the situation.
No, we come in wearing a blindfold.
Yeah, you can have explained the situation to them as you see fit. If you want, like, we can zoom back. You know what? I want to know how this happened.
Oh no.
Chimera, you show up to the docks, the kind of like the little mech service stations, and Astro, you didn't really have a whole lot left to do on yours, and Dyne, you would have, like, you know, all your systems are probably cooling down. You're starting to get the all greens on a few things. You have a little bit more maintenance to do, but that can wait. You know, you're tired. Both of you see, you both sent Evelene off to go relieve Rock of guard duty, and Evelene wanders back into camp from the dust and the dark.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll wave to you.
Gentlemen, I got good news and I got bad news.
Okay, let's hear the bad news first.
The bad news is, well, actually, I guess it's a matter of perspective. But the bad news is that we just Rock just arrested Jean and has turned her in.
Oh, okay.
I'll raise an eyebrow when I go, oh, I didn't expect that to happen that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure how long we were going to hold out on that, but it just happened right now, so that's one less thing to worry about.
Hold on a second. That's what I wanted to do in the first place. What changed, and why is that bad news?
So, as it turns out, Rock was able to fish some information out of her. Apparently, she had some data drops from MantiCorp that we were able to get the location of. And it became rather apparent that she didn't really have anything else prepared. She didn't really have any other contacts. She didn't really have any other plans. The way I take it is Rock felt that there wasn't much more we could get out of her, so he knocked her out and is turning her in. So yeah, that was the good news, by the way.
What about other loyalists on this planet?
As far as she knows, there aren't any that haven't been rounded up anyway.
She asked her that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot that just happened.
I mean,
never a dull moment around
on
here.
This, Astro, but Rock is from the military. He's probably had some more extensive interrogation training than you have. He was probably able to do a bit more on his own.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is all good news, but
I don't know. I wasn't sure if you had any plans for her or whatnot, but
I on the contrary, I was dreading keeping an eye on her for the next 7 days.
That's actually a good point.
I always half expect Astro to be that kind of like sleazeball. It's like, oh yeah, I had plenty of plans for her. So many plans. I guess we'll have to deal with what happened. But like,
and I'll just pointedly look at Astro and be like, "This is why I wanted Rock to go along with you." I'm just saying.
Well, that's good. I do feel like I was being a little. I kind of covered for Rock with Heathcote, so I feel a little duplicitous there. But I'm sure they understand. We were in a picky spot. Just wish I knew what he was planning to do.
Let me guess. Is he going to turn her in? He's going to turn her in, right?
He's doing it right now. I'm supposed to bring you over so we could all talk about it together.
All right. Let's probably head on over.
Yes.
Learn everything that Rock learned.
All right. Well,
then we can figure out what to do from there.
The three of you head to the command center. As you arrive, there is a guard at the front who just kind of like nods you all in, and as you approach says, your man is in the back with Joyce.
Your man is in the back with the body.
Right,
and you guys kind of arrive as Rock is explaining the dead drop locations to Joyce.
Hello. Well, what a turn of events.
as we walk in, I'm like, oh, so you were able to get more out of her then?
Yeah. Where's the security chief of yours here?
Well, the guard went out to fetch him. I should be here momentarily. He said he wanted to do some perimeter checks. He didn't say why, but he seemed concerned about something.
Huh. Well, I don't want to wait too long. I'll re-explain the situation to you all here and just what happened.
I would say, as you get the rest of your crew caught up, that is about when Casper and Heathcote show up together.
All right. Well, after that.
There we go.
Yeah, Casper comes in and goes, "So, you found one?"
Last one, so I believe at least, of this cell.
Hopefully. I'm glad you were able to root him out.
A little bit of it was luck, I'm not gonna lie.
You're sure?
That it was luck? Well,
No, you're sure that you've vetted the right person. They're definitely in the pocket of MantiCorp.
Oh, yeah. That's not a concern. That's definitely true.
They have a lot of info for us, or no?
Well, good news or bad news, depending on how you want to look at it, not really. They have defensive information about the area. There are dead drops. I've already explained to Joyce where they are, and we can find them later. She wanted me to get that information out to MantiCorp somehow. I told her, of course, that I would in exchange for information, and well, I'm not going to.
Fair enough. You did a great job. I'm more and more convinced that you guys showing up was an incredible boon for us.
Yeah, we're pretty awesome.
He smiles and then refocuses on Joyce. Joyce, are you wanting to change anything plan-wise, or do you want to go into the interrogation now? Joyce thinks about it for a little bit.
If I may, do what you'd like interrogation-wise. I really don't think you're going to get much from her. I don't know if you're looking for something specific or if there's other information I don't know, but she is more loyal than one would believe. I don't think you're going to really be able to break her without something very extreme, and no offense, Joyce, I actually mean this as a compliment. I don't think you have the ability to get as extreme as you need to get information out of her. Be my guest, but it'll be a waste of time for you.
She thinks about it, and then Casper looks at her, and then she just shakes her head at Casper, and he nods back. And then Casper kind of refocuses on you. And he says, well, it was good that we found this before going into anything else. I had Heathcote tell you all earlier, we're having a meeting tomorrow, a planning session. Wanted you all to be there. I'm going to have a little bit more information to digest to be ready for tomorrow, but I'm glad to have it. Heathcote, we're going to get those dead drops tonight. I want to review them before the meeting tomorrow. Heathcote, nods at him.
For what it's worth, there's probably more. These are the dead drops that she placed. She seemed to imply that there could be others, that if you were able to get the information out of some of the other captives, that they also probably had some somewhere. I don't know what that means for you all, or if it matters even at this point, but if there are other loyalists and they do get access to your communications somehow, they could also find these dead drops.
Well, Luckily, I think her desperation to use you as an access point only proves what I had hoped. They don't have access to contacting MantiCorp from here.
No, I don't think they do.
I believe the reason she was probably willing to reach out to you is she probably assumed you had a way to reach MantiCorp outside of the base. Our communications here are only terrestrial. But
There's something to be said for that. It's 7 days. MantiCorp may planetfall before then.
Oh, we'll go over this tomorrow, but I'm expecting that.
Well, terrestrial communications at planetfall is pretty dangerous, too.
Of course. I agree completely. I have a hope and a suspicion. I'm going to be burning some midnight oil tonight, but I'm hoping that when we have our meeting tomorrow with this new information, we'll have another chip in our pocket to play with. He, you can tell he's thinking, and he's, excited about the prospect of a possibility here. You can tell that he's running the numbers in his head. Well, is there anything else you all need from us, or is this just an incredible windfall for the night that we should all be grateful for before getting some rest? Anything else you think you have to offer tonight?
Damn, sorry, Astro. I should have made him pay us for delivering her. That's my bad. I'm not used to being a mercenary. It's new for me.
To be honest, it didn't really occur to me either. We're all kind of new at being mercenaries.
Dyne will just roll his eyes. New.
Anyway,
right.
you told us that you would have compensation for us after this was all done. I'm sure that will be sufficient. I'm not worried.
Joyce pipes up and says, yes, you'll all be requisitely compensated. We have a little bit of an escrow set aside with the Noblest Affair. They're holding on to some additional funds and material for us. Once all my people are safely away, we'll have them transfer that to you.
Sounds fine to me.
But part of the deal that I did come up with is Dyne, can you look over Joyce? I got her to agree to it.
Look over. Oh, you just wanted me to do a basic health check or something more in-depth?
Oh, for goodness sakes, fine.
Look, her eyes are bloodshot. I can see them from here.
All right. I'll do it. You want to do this now or you want to do this later?
She looks at all the rest of you. Well, get out. She waves you all out of the office. Casper takes Heathcote and they leave with purpose.
All right, well,
walk out too.
Also take my leave so the doctor can do his work.
So we're walking back. I'm just gonna ask Astro and Evelene, do you think we can trust Casper and Heathcote?
I think for now we can, but I do feel like there's something they're certainly holding back.
Also, just to keep to keep you in the loop, Heathcote stopped by the camp for a bit and had a good conversation with a lot of us to get to know us better. Asked a bunch of questions. Seems all right, but
seemed awfully inquisitive, which made me think that maybe Casper had sent him to, just to keep an eye on us. Then again, he could just be a very nice older gentleman.
I'm gonna be honest. If we can get anything from them in the form of payment, favor, or otherwise, it should be connections. We need to know who we can and can't trust with our new lifestyle going forward after this, because while we may be able to go back to the space station occasionally, we're going to have to be careful about it. And jobs from MantiCorp and probably other corporations are not likely.
I agree, and I wasn't sure what to think of Casper at first, but I think I'm getting a good feeling from Heathcote once I talk to him.
Well, it's not nothing.
Yeah, and they're obviously powerful allies to have.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best we can do right now. Just, keep our eyes open and hopefully things will work out.
Torcy's gonna be so mad at us.
Oh, so you devil you, and I punch you in the shoulder. You had me going there. I really thought you were just gonna play poker with her for 7 days.
I tried to clue you in by saying that we could do whatever you wanted still, and that would be enough to give you an idea that we weren't actually going to follow along with what she was saying.
I just thought you meant let's keep all our options open, to which I did agree, but I think this worked out pretty well.
They're open again if you guys want to try to take a mine out.
Yeah,
at this point, we're fugitives, so kaboom.
I say we help them. Might as well go all the way. What's the difference if we're fugitives with a slightly larger bounty on our heads?
Well, what's the saying? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
At least Evelene knows how to ignite it and make a bomb for it, like you said. That's great, right?
Yeah, I was lying about that, but I'm sure we can wing it.
Incidentally, In for a Penny, In for a Pound was the title of one of my unreleased projects that never got greenlit by the studio.
And as we crossfade to the scene...
That was perfect.
We crossfade to the scene of Dyne and Joyce. So yeah, Dyne, she just kind of just like at the table, and she's like, "All right, Sawbones, what you need?"
All right. Oh, let me do just a basic checkup. Look for anything obvious. I can just tell from here that you obviously look completely exhausted, but I know better than to tell you to stop. I have a feeling Rock told you, but you're probably not going to until this whole thing is over. So let's just do some basic looking over.
Fine. And as you start to get to work, she kind of like chats with you a bit. You're seems like y'all have been a good little boon getting a good win like this on your first day in camp. If Casper hadn't cleared you, I'd be a little bit suspicious.
Oh, I don't blame you given the situation. You're trying to escape, and we just happen to show up. Oh man.
As you go along, it is obvious that she has been using supplements to stay awake.
Right.
Like it is pretty apparent that she is using caffeine along with some other sort of stimulant to kind of like keep her sleep to around like, I mean, educated guess from just like the fact that you know this stuff, you can assume she's getting maybe like 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night.
Okay. Did you need me to do a pilot check for any of this? No,
this is not like difficult to discern info.
Okay.
None of this is like rare rim tech or something like that. It is very obvious she has been popping caffeine pills, and you get a sense she's on some other stimulant, but she hasn't volunteered any info. This is just from your cursory examinations.
Right. Well, I would say that you should lay off the caffeine pills. Well, I know that's usually a good thing for minor boosts, but I guess you don't really have the option to not do it given the situation. So, yeah. Other than that, I'd say you're probably fine.
Well, good, because I need to be. We need to get through this week.
It's a great thing to hear from your doctor, by the way. You're probably fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, your doctor's not usually also on an alien planet surrounded by killer wildlife trying to escape from a corporation that's probably going to want to destroy you.
Surrounded by killer wildlife, sitting on top of basically a priceless resource that people with unlimited funding want and don't have.
You know, given those situations, your doctor saying you're probably all right is probably a pretty good diagnosis.
What do the doctors say when they're examining you and like a fucking meteor is out the window headed towards the planet? Is like, well, you're probably gonna live past when the meteor hits. So, well, you would have, if not for the meteor.
Yeah, you're looking good, but sucks about that meteor, huh?
She like gets back to work. You can tell that like she has various signed orders on the table for like various groups of people in the camp to like basically move shipments. There's most of these are inventory. Right? Like most of the things she's accounting for are inventory and making sure like every person is accounted for, every item is accounted for, everything they need to leave when they need to leave is getting ready. And it looks like that's kind of the stuff she's been working on.
I'll say. Is there anything else you need from me at the moment?
No, but we'll be talking a little bit more about that tomorrow. I think Casper wants to go over what he thinks the broad strokes of what to expect in the coming week are. Hopefully there's no more delays. I don't think we can survive them. What are you all doing? How'd you get to the planet?
Well, as you know, we were tasked by MantiCorp. She does know about this, right? Because she was going to pay us double to... Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. As you know, we were tasked with MantiCorp to find out why, well, you guys vanished and there's been no communications. So we came down, did some investigations, found a few of your tracks, and on one of the excursions that I had... outside of the city, I was able to find some tracks leading away from the city, which led us to your first line of defense out there.
Well, gotta make sure that spot is plugged up then. If you could find it, other people can.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very obvious. I just happened to notice some tracks from your machines leading... the resonator away. Sonic resonator, was it?
Yeah. We lived our entire lives with them there. Took an outsider to convince us to set them up as traps. Bit of genius, that.
Oh, one of them being there and just having just enough energy to activate once is what saved us during one of our accidental encounters with some of those insectoid creatures in the city.
Glad it worked for you. If it got you here, then I'm thanking the stars for it.
Oh, I'm thanking the stars that we got away from them.
I guess.
Hopefully, everything will go smoothly, but my experience is that it never does, and I always prefer to prepare for something as best as I can.
Yeah, I'm of like mind. She motions to the various recordings she's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Doc, am I cleared? Is my bill of health acceptable?
I would say your bill of health is as acceptable as it's going to get given the situation. I'd say get more sleep, but that's not probably going to happen. So, cleared.
All right, well, you get on out of here too. I need to get through a few more things if I'm going to get any sleep tonight.
All right, now you have a good night, and I'll walk out.
All right, and you eventually head back to your makeshift camp around the mech bays as well. So yeah, I mean, you guys get a full repair, but you basically get all the benefits of a full repair aside from you don't refresh all of your repair cap like you normally would. So yeah, the next day starts. Do any of you? Yeah. Okay.
There is something I did want to talk with the guys about.
Sure. Yeah. You get back to camp and everyone is there. What do you want to chat about?
I was like, all right, so we know MantiCorp is likely to invade sometime prior to them leaving in 7 days. We should definitely have Torsay move the DBC away from the city, because they will land and investigate near the city.
Yeah,
we
that's
do
a
not
good-
want the DBC to be there and unprotected alone.
Move it over here.
I would say so.
I would say so. That way we have a way to get off the planet. I don't know if there's a hidden place close by, but we need to have it moved.
Wherever we move it, we got to make sure that she's safe from whatever monstrosities are out there.
Yeah, but I do not think it remaining in the city is a safe place for now. But when MantiCorp comes, it is going to be the least safe place.
Okay, I think you're right. I can talk to Heathcote about it. Maybe he can try to arrange something for us.
Well, we should. I say we wait until tomorrow after the meeting, and then we can make our plans. We are going to have to contact her. It's going to be long range, so whatever we do, let's make sure we know what we're going to do before we contact her.
Makes sense.
Should probably check in on her tonight just to make sure she's doing all right.
Is making a connection with the DBC Bob going to cause any problems because of the distance or possible interception?
It could. You do remember that everyone has been trying to stay radio silent and only just authorized you guys to use the radio equipment here in camp to send that message to Torsay before. You don't know what the procedure is for that. The last time you guys used their radio equipment here, you were brought there by Casper.
I'll just say to Astro, let's wait till tomorrow. We already contacted her once today. Let's keep our contacts at minimum.
All right, well, I just hope she's doing okay.
I do too, but we need to be prepared.
Well, she knows the situation. I'm sure she can handle whatever comes at her.
Yep.
Hopefully nothing.
And that's all I really wanted to bring up. I felt it was important.
All right. Well, does anyone else have anything they want to do before the meeting tomorrow?
Nothing else from me.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, on the next day, after getting prepared in the morning, seeing the camp kind of wake up, it remains dusty here, but as the light starts to fill in the valley, it becomes a little bit easier to see. You all make your way to the command center and back into her office. I wanted to call it I keep wanting to call it a conversation room. What are those? Conference is the word I keep forgetting. You head back into the conference room converted into an office that Joyce has been using. And Casper and Heathcote are already there, as well as a man you've never seen before. He looks like if the kid from the Christmas Story just got bigger but didn't actually age. He's like he looks like a big round child man with giant Coke bottle glasses. He is seated in one of the chairs. You can see that he has some of the stacks of papers that Joyce has been working on, like in front of him, that he's reviewing. And he has a very odd pipe-like device that he is... What is he doing with it? You look closer, he's drinking out of it? It's like... It looks like a pipe, but there's very obviously a liquid inside of it. And
like a smoking pipe?
It looks like a smoking pipe, but there's very obviously a liquid in it. And he's like reviewing the work, and then you see he puts his mouth up to the end of the pipe and then drinks from it and continues reading.
In the future, they don't smoke tobacco, they drink it.
Or maybe he is a child and he has one of those bubble pipes.
I suppose the real question is, does he have a Red Ryder BB gun?
Nowhere around that you were able to detect.
Damn it. Oh, thank you.
His name is Peak Binder, and he was the former mining camp leader. As the rest of you enter, Joyce motions you all to seats that are available at the table. And she says, yeah, come on in, sit down. We have a few things to go over, and just finishing up giving Peak some of the inventory I want him to take a look at. Peak, these are the new mercenaries who have come into the cause. Everyone, this is Peak. Peak kind of like looks up over some of the stuff he's been looking at and just goes, nice to meet y'all. Well, you look scary. I guess that's good.
I take that as a compliment, I think.
He smiles as if it's totally a compliment, and he doesn't see how it couldn't be.
I'll just kind of laugh.
Casper kind of looks around the group. Well, I have a few things to go over. Does anyone else have anything they want to say or any new information you want to bring to the front before I lay out a few things?
Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing new on our front.
All right. Well, I'm just going to get into it then. There are two major things that we have that we are going to need to use if we stand any chance of lasting the week. Defense and deception. MantiCorp doesn't have the full picture yet. We've worked really hard to make sure that stays the case. If we have any ideas for furthering that deception or throwing them off the trail, buying as much time as possible is best. I've seen what you all can do out there, and we're no slouches either. We have a series of effective countermeasures and defense systems set up, and I think we can hold our own for a while. At the very least, we can probably run a mission or two to wipe out a scout force and make sure they don't track us down. But we want to delay that moment of engagement as long as possible, because once we escalate, we're shortening the timetable. Yesterday, you all brought me some unexpected information that I think I have a plan for, and I'm going to need your cooperation for. He looks over to Astro.
Sure. What are you thinking?
We need to send some of this information back to MantiCorp.
Huh.
Okay. That makes sense. MantiCorp doesn't know that we're assisting you, and we want to have something to show for them.
That's what I'm hoping. You were sent down here by them. Now, I don't know what group in MantiCorp you were working for, and based off of what I know about them, they might not either. But someone there knows you're on planet. Someone there knows that you're running missions. Yours are the only power signals on the planet they're not going to investigate more closely. From what you've told me, you all still have your ship back in the city. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, this is where I'm asking for just a little bit of time to explain. So let me give you the picture of what I'd like us to do. These dead drops are somehow signatured to their agents. I don't think MantiCorp is going to investigate too closely what info they do and don't receive. I've taken the opportunity last night to collect all the dead drops and review what information is on them. My plan is we send them back some of this information, make it known that, hey, you have someone still at work on the inside, and here's some weaknesses in the defenses. We now know what we're transmitting, though, and I want to turn those places they think are weaknesses into our strongest defenses. We can control where they're going to attack from with this information.
That sounds like a plan.
Fight the battle on our terms.
Exactly. If we know when and where they're going to attack and what they're expecting to see there, well, we can use that.
That's pretty good. I like it.
To that end, we were last night we were discussing what to do about our ship. Do you think we should leave it in the city so they think we're still investigating the city itself?
This is the part you're not going to like. Eventually, MantiCorp is going to know you flipped on them. I don't recommend your ship being in the city when that happens. And there's a few places I can imagine bringing your ship out this way. But what if we send them into orbit?
The ship?
Yeah. If we get your ship off planet, they can effectively send a signal to the approaching fleet or scout force or whatever MantiCorp is sending before they arrive in orbit.
Ooh, but that puts the ship in a very precarious situation, facing down an entire fleet in space.
Well, they only need to stay there long enough to transmit the message. Afterwards, we have your ship just fuck off to some other part of the system.
Now, would it be in that ship, or are we just trying to get the ship out of the situation?
No. And that's why I need to ask for your trust. Because what I'm asking you to do is send your getaway vessel away to get this deception over on MantiCorp. You'd essentially be throwing in with a lot of us and leaving when we do, when our evac ship arrives.
Suppose we could, I'll look to, who's our pilot again? Dyne? Rock, I mean.
And you're our captain?
Who's our captain? Is that me? Am I the captain?
Check your name tag.
I'll look to Rock and say, could you set a course in the ship's computer and have everything set up so that perhaps Torsay can operate it and get it to safety after sending the message?
I mean, if we're entertaining the idea of doing this, I suppose
You really want to leave Torsay up there alone in the ship?
I'm just saying, I'm just exploring our options. I'm not jumping to any decision yet.
And that's assuming she's on board. It's like she's okay with us doing this to her.
Look, I've already shown that I'm more than on board with going along with all of this, but this is a hell of an ask.
Casper looks to you, Rock, and says, well, it's better than your ship being locked down in the city when MantiCorp arrives and finds out that you're playing a different side. At least in space, whoever you have up there can get away. If we bring them over here, sure, they can take you all and leave as well. But if we're going to sell this, it would be easier if we can start to control the messaging as soon as possible.
Assuming what you say is right, and it very well might be, then that just leaves us in a weird position. I mean, when you have this getaway ship of yours come around, how are you sure it's going to be able to deal with God knows how many MantiCorp ships are going to be here? How are you going to get off this place? How are you going to load people onto this ship and then leave before it gets bombarded?
Actually, wouldn't it be useful to have our ship here as a? Because what if you don't have enough transports, or we could load up some of your stuff on our ship, and then that way it's less time you need to load up the rest when the other transports get here.
We have transports arriving.
Right.
But
you can't
have
pack
accounted for that.
You can't pack up until they get here.
You offer us a piece of strategic maneuvering that we didn't have access to before. I'm worried about holding out until the transports can get here. If we can keep them off the trail, out of our hair, and otherwise engaged while the civilians load up and make it off planet, then we will have done our job.
Suppose
you don't even want to fight here at all.
If it can be helped, no.
Are your transports subtle enough to get past the ships that'll be here?
They will be. There's no way MantiCorp will have been able to field a large enough force to blockade the planet, or they wouldn't have sent you all here. From what I've seen, that's going to probably be their scouting force first. Of course, much larger than a single lance, but it's not going to be a Corsac unit. It's going to be their fastest ship, their lightest mechs, and their scouting parties. If they know that their freelancers have some information for them, they're going to be happy to use it. Well, at least that's what we're banking on.
What kind of message would you have us send from orbit before the ship heads off?
Something plausible. What you found, what you were able to determine on the planet. You can even give away some things if it doesn't, throw us under the bus. I mean, you're working for them. Sure, you can play the part of working for them. You were already doing it. If you can convince them that you're still on side and give them some plausible info to work with, then give them some of those data drops, convince them we're weak in a place where we're not, they won't know the deception is a deception until they've fallen into our trap.
What if they want to rendezvous with us?
We'll have to deal with it when that happens. I don't know what they'll be requesting.
I imagine there's going to be some amount of winging it involved. Like, we're not going to be able to plan everything that can possibly happen.
People are complex and plans shift. If we try to plan every detail, that's plenty of details that can go wrong. If we have an objective and capable people in the positions where they can work the best, then we can improvise. We can make decisions on the fly and do what's best for the plan. That is, if you're willing to try this.
Can we send the ship away, but to some place we know within the system, perhaps behind a moon?
We would set a rendezvous point, yes, where we could hand you back off to your ship, and there we part ways.
Perhaps we leave one of our crew members on board the ship, just in case we need them aboard the ship to retrieve us later.
That'll be one less person down in the fighting here, if that's what you want to do.
Yes, but it's insurance that we don't lose our ship in the process.
Well, I hope
That's certainly something that we can discuss, though.
if you're confident that you only need 3 of you on planet,
Well, we will have to discuss your proposal as a crew. I can't offer a definite answer right now.
well, regardless, this is the shape of what I've been able to come up with since last night. Furthermore, we've already gotten into it a little bit, but the reason they hired you and the group before you is because they wanted this taken care of as quickly as possible. They sent the fastest ships or people in the area so they could get as much data as quickly as possible. They didn't care if you were walking into a trap or you got obliterated. They just wanted the chance that it would be taken care of quickly. I expect that the first of MantiCorp security forces will be arriving in 4 days. If our transports hadn't been delayed, which is what we were planning for, we would have been out of here before they arrived. But now it looks like they're going to get here first. That's why we need to come up with something to turn the advantage in our favor again. So, for my accounting, we have 3 more days before their ships start to arrive, and they start to send scouting forces down onto the planet to find out what's happening. Any ideas you can come up with, any plans you have, any things you want to accomplish before they arrive, we should start working on.
Understood.
We have 6 more days to the transports arrive. Based off when MantiCorp is planned on getting here, that gives us 3 days we have to hold out for. Between deception and defense, we need to keep these people safe until we can get them out of here.
I suppose one thing that we could try to do. The wildlife on this planet really doesn't like people. One thing that we could definitely do as a trap is to set up a sonic resonator in a place that, well, we know MantiCorp will have to traverse.
Yes,
Turn it
that
on.
would be...
And drag let the wildlife come to it. And once it's turned off or runs out of power, well, the wildlife will not like everything around it.
That's a plan, for sure. We'll need to figure out how to transport it and how to power it, but we can start working on that for sure.
Well, that's just one idea. Suppose we should start working on more. 3 days worth of defense can feel like an eternity.
Hopefully, with some gentle prodding, we can keep that moment of engagement as far off as possible. I don't dare dream it, but in a perfect world, we'd be able to keep them off our scent until we were off planet. I don't think that'll be the case, but should be a goal if we could.
I agree. All right. Anybody have anything else to say?
I guess the thing that I'm kind of hung up on is like if there was like I think any of these data drops are going to reveal where the base is, right? Or is there information we can reveal that doesn't reveal where we're at? Like if we can make them waste their time just trying to find us for 3 days, that would make things go a lot easier.
There's information on some of them that has information about our turrets, essentially, where they've been destroyed, what's been lost. MantiCorp already knows about the mine. What they don't know is what our plan is. You've been able to figure out that we're trying to evacuate the population, and that we've moved the entire population to the mining camp. MantiCorp doesn't know that yet. Right now, they know the mining camp is important to them anyway, because that's where their iridium alum is. But hopefully, with some combination of information, we can have them investigate perhaps the mine and not the camp here.
How far is the camp from the mine?
Well, from here, the mine is about yada miles away. Because Bob is bad at distances. It's like
if I was driving a car on
if you guys were in mechs, the travel from here to there would be like 3 hours.
Okay, so it's not...
there's like a well-worn road pathway leading from the camp to the mine, but it is revealed that like basically this camp was built on top of where they first started mining iridium alum 2 generations ago. The newest vein that they located is a few hours away, so that's where they've been mining from in the past couple of decades.
Okay.
I wonder if we could make up some fake mines to say, like, you know, in the time that they've lost contact with you guys, you know, a few more mines popped up, and maybe have them chase after those for a little bit.
In 3 days, I think that information will be suspect at best.
Well, no, I mean, how long have you guys been out of contact with MantiCorp now? I think it was like a few...
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. For some reason, my brain was thinking it was a few months, but 2 weeks is a bit of a stretch.
Well, they don't know where the population is. We could feed them false information on that front, make them think the camp is located somewhere else. But I'm guessing their priority will be the mines, because that's their most valuable asset.
Right.
And I don't think it would be hard to distract them into going to the mines while the colonists are making preparations to evacuate. Give them information that would lead them to believe that the mines are under threat. And we can prepare to hold them at that position.
We can do that, but there's a complication with using the mines.
What's
You want
that?
to blow it up?
He smiles. Well, it's not that these motives don't align, but the mine has its own security system. We have not been able to take out this security system. It is very obvious what on this planet MantiCorp cares about. Between me and Heathcote alone, it was too daunting a task, and we needed to focus on taking care of the people here. Now that we have a few more allies on board, in the next day or two, we could take out the security at the mine and lead them into a trap there.
I think now that we're here, we could try to disable the security for you.
Maybe
that
even
may be
reprogram it.
That may be our best chance. As you said, we know what they care most about on this planet. Let's use that to our advantage.
Great. Well, let's start coming up with plans of attack. And I think that is going to be it for this session. When we come back in our next session of Lancer, we're going to go over kind of what our more specific plans are. So pilots, come up with whatever cool or fun ideas you guys would have for distracting the MegaCorp. And we'll start running some missions in the next session.
Sounds good.
Awesome. It'd be cool.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
See ya.
Yep. See ya.